Hi, I'm Todd Anderson. Today we're going to install the True Edge rivet style painted to match fender flares on this 2014 Toyota Tundra. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so for our first step, we're going to take and install our edge trim on each one of our flares. Now this edge trim is going to install on the outside edge where it touches the paint. Don't worry about putting on the inside edge, we don't need it there. Before we attach this trim edge, we're going to take and rub down the inside with rubbing alcohol. What that does is that removes any kind of unwanted debris, residue, so we have a nice surface to attach to. Okay, now getting it started is the toughest part. What we want to do is peel this apart and set the adhesive portion to the inside, and then the part that's not adhesive, let it fall to the outside. Then what we're going to do is just work that around all the way around the edge of the trim. All right, sometimes it's good to go about a foot at a time, and once you have it set in place, go ahead and peel your 3M tape away from it. Make sure you bear down and get some good contact with that adhesive. Next, if you have the rivet style fender flares, we're going to go ahead and install the bolts. Now this is a T40 Torx head, so we're going to need a T40 Torx bit, and we're going to run this through the washer. Now the washers are stamped washer, so you got kind of a rough side and a smooth side. The smooth side is what needs to hit the paint. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the bolt through the washer. We've also got some provided nylock nuts. These are a 1/2-inch nut. We're going to get that started. We're going to take our T40, set it in place, and we're going to tighten down. We want to hold it in place on the Torx side and then actually tighten on the nut side. Now repeat that on all bolt holes and all the flares. All right, so I'm starting the passenger side and the front. Now this is going to install the exact same way on the driver's side. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take out these 2 bolts that are in the front of the fender well that comes out with a 10mm. Now we're going to set these aside for later to reinstall with a flare. All right, next we're going to find our molded plastic support piece. Now this is labeled for the passenger side. What I've got is some clips. Those clips slide right over top of these holes here and here. You got little cut ends to go to the clips. We're going to slide those clips over top. What that does essentially is put threads behind those holes so we can run a screw through them. All right, so now in your kit you're going to have 2 different size truss screws. You got a longer truss screw and a shorter truss screw. The longer truss screw, you're going to have 30 of them, and they're going to be used partially to attach this piece to the actual fender itself. Then the shorter truss screw, you only have 4 of them, and those truss screws are going to hold the fender flare to here going through the clips we just installed. Now, up underneath your fender, you're going to have some molding in the plastic that kind of ends right here, and you've got a fastener that sits right next to it. What we're going to do is we're going to take our reinforcement piece and go right up against where that fastener, where that molding piece ends, and then we're going to have a hole that's going to line right up to that plastic fastener. You're going to leave that fastener in there and just take the longer truss screw with a washer and go up through the hole here and into the hole in the fastener. We're going to follow that over to the other side and do the same thing with the next hole and go right into the fastener. We're going to tighten those down with a Phillips head screwdriver. Now, holding the fender flare in place, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the hardware in place until everything lines up. All right, now going up into the clips, I'm using the short truss screws. Every truss screw that we're going to use, whether it be short or long, we're also going to use a washer. Now we're going to put the truss screw up into the bracket. Here we're using the factory hardware to go back into the holes where they came out of. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to line the flare up to the fastener. The factory fastener is already in there. We're just going to tighten it right in with the Phillips head truss screw, also using a washer. So now I'm going to set the rear flare into place, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these provided push pin fasteners from the kit, and I'm going to use it to go up through the hole in the bottom of the fender flare. Okay, so what I'm doing is from the back, I'm working my way up to the front I'm going to go ahead and install the factory screw back into place. And here again, we have the truss screws going into the factory fasteners. We're going to leave it slightly loose at this time. All right, now we got everything lined up. Let's go back and tighten down all the hardware. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you out.